Welcome to News Now here on Breakfast Central's morning broadcast. Let's take a look at the top stories for this hour. This hour, Inspector General of Police bans officers in Mufti after carrying assault rifles. APC dismisses Obasanjo-Atiku meeting, says the alliance poses no threat. UN calls for immediate release of Niger's deposed president detained since 2023. You can stay here with us and get the details of these stories and much more. My name is Joe Hansen. Thanks for staying with us. The Inspector General of Police, Abeokuta, has issued a directive banning officers from carrying assault rifles while dressed in civilian clothing. This new order aims to ensure professionalism within the Nigeria police force and prevent the misuse of power. Abeokuta also emphasized the importance of upholding human rights, warning officers of severe consequences for any breaches. The IGP's directive highlights the need for police personnel to follow ethical guidelines and maintain operational integrity in all situations. Well, let's now take you to River State, South Nigeria, where residents of the state are reacting differently on the outcome of judgment on Monday. The Supreme Court had dismissed Governor Siminalayi Fubara's appeal, challenging the judgment that nullified the presentation and passage of the state's 2024 budget. Governor Fubara's counsel, Yusuf Ali, told the court that the appeal is no longer necessary because it's been, quote, undertaken by events. The withdrawal comes barely 5 weeks after Governor Fubara signed the state's 2025 budget into law. Well, let's also tell you that the River State government and the factional Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, Martin Amawole, has reacted to the Supreme Court's ruling. Edison Ehie, Chief of Staff to Governor Fubara, says the dismissed appeal is about the Court of Appeal's ruling, asking Governor Fubara to re-present the 2024 budget before the Amawole-led House of Assembly. Mr. Amawole, the factional leader of the River State House of Assembly, says the Supreme Court's dismissal of the appeal is a step in the right direction.
And that of the Federal High Court.
Let's still stay in River State now and tell you that people are indeed reacting differently to the development. Well, we're now joined by Chizi, a President General Initiative for Transparent Strategy and Good Leadership. Chizi joins me from River State. Good morning to you, Chizi, and thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Liberals people.
All right. Now that you are indeed abreast with the latest situation of things, can you tell us how Rivers people, or better still, the River State, taken the outcome of the Supreme Court's decision on Monday?
Yeah. Let me first of all thank your station for this wonderful opportunity. As for River State, we have been peaceful since the inception of this administration, and we are still peaceful up till this end. With respect to the Supreme Court ruling, that's what we expected. Reason being that the governor's legal team withdrew the appeal, knowing that it will be of no effect. Supreme Court cannot direct Governor Olusegun Obasanjo to go and represent budget of 2024. You know, what we are talking about is a legal document and it is a budget. And as a budget, it has time. There is no budget that does not have time frame. Budget of 2024 must end by 2024. Anything more than that will go to no issue. So looking at the dead on arrival of the judgment of both Omoto and the Court of Appeal, the lawyers of the governor see no reason to continue with the matter and advise the governor appropriately. And the governor also took the decision knowing that the budget has already been spent and has already expired. We can no longer see any reason to recall the budget, knowing that it is 2025. And also don't rule out the fact that the budget for 2025 has been passed and the governor has also started spending on it. So there is no need going back and front on the issue of the budget, hence the withdrawal. The dismissal was not as a result of full hearing, but the dismissal was as a result of the withdrawal by the governor saying that he sees no reason to continue with the matter. Hence, the budget has been spent. And the budget, as we speak now, it has expired. If you listen to Femi Falana, you will also hear what he said about the expiration of the budget. Since the budget has expired, there is no need going to Supreme Court to make another that cannot be effected. And according to rules of court, to the Supreme Court, one of the rules in Supreme Court also stated that fact. So, and the withdrawal of the appeal. Thank you.
The atmosphere now as we speak, knowing that there are indeed other related cases that the Supreme Court will actually rule on, let's say particularly 4 of them. Is there any apprehension, any worry, especially looking at what's happening in River State now?
No apprehension whatsoever. No, why? Of what essence? The other appeals bordering particularly on the local government election. Why do you go to say that the local government election should not hold when you did not participate in the election? Is there any way the Constitution say an election should be stopped? Election is a process, and the process has come and gone. Only those who participated in the election can challenge the validity and or otherwise of the election. Hence, the Tony Okocha who instituted that action was not even the proper person to do so. So we were not apprehensive on the local government election. Then, on the issue of stopping allocation of a River State government, which they went to Federal High Court, we also challenged that, which the Court of Appeal agreed with us. So there is no apprehension whatsoever. And let me digress a little bit on the issue of the status of Martin Amebule. If you listen to Femi Falana also, he was very emphatic to say that the matter before the Supreme Court was on the issue of budget, which they see that it has expired, hence the withdrawal. But the validity of Martin Amebule being a member of the House is not a contentious issue or was not part of the appeal. If you sometimes, when an appeal is made or an application is made before a court, you look at the subject matter, which is budget, and not the issue of Martin Amebule's legitimacy as a member of the House. Martin Amebule filed an application challenging the presentation of budget to Edison Ehi, as he then was the speaker. Thereafter, he defected from PDP to APC, which is now a subject of litigation before Honorable Justice Obile at the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt. So that is where the issue now lies. So the issue of presentation of budget, no presentation of budget, the legitimacy of Martin Amebule, no legitimacy of Martin Amebule, or that the judgment has been, the ruling has been given both by, the ruling of the Supreme Court dismissing the appeal, which was withdrawn. Even the judgment of Justice Motosho and the Court of Appeal, the legitimacy of Martin Amebule was not the subject matter before them. But, however, people have always misrepresent the ratio and the obiter. A judge can, during judgment, can by way of giving judgment, make certain statements that does not form part of the judgment, which will not be reasons for the decision. So the obiter made by the judge that they ought to represent the budget or present the budget to Martin Amebule, who then was the speaker, was an obiter, because the legitimacy of Martin Amebule was not in contention before Justice Omotosho, neither was it in contention at the Court of Appeal.
Okay.
So that is it.
Yeah, let me ask you this. What if the Supreme Court eventually validates the legitimacy of the Amaule's team? What would this mean for River State? And of course, what would this also mean for the camp of Governor Siminalayi Fubara?
It will mean nothing. Not representing budget. Is it a crime? It's not a crime. So what is the big deal? Would they impeach the governor? When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. It's not a crime not to represent.
Martin's, sorry to butt in. Martin Amawule's camp has also spoken out that it's about time for Governor Siminalayi Fubara to actually be impeached. Looking at the fact that they believe that they would be returning to their seats, even though many have said it's constitutionally not right for them to return.
That is after Supreme Court validated, when after Justice Obile, Court of Appeal before Supreme Court, and as at the time we'll be talking about 2027 almost, because even the matter they filed in 2023 is ending 2025. So at when this matter will finish, it will also get to 2027. So when they impeach the governor, when we get to that time, we will know those who are legitimate members of the House. Also, don't rule out the fact that because of their defection, their seats were declared vacant by the Edison and Liyel Assembly before now. So, in fact, not even Edison that declared their seats vacant. The Constitution declared their seats vacant, having defected from PDP to APC without any valid reason. There wasn't division in the party and they defected. And now again, they are saying they have not defected. Let me even tell you, before Justice Obile, they raised an issue of for the court to allow them to come, that the matter should be enlisted through writ of summons, so that it should be contentious. But the judge declined that request and said the matter should continue by way of originating motion. Right. So we are not apprehensive of that. We are very much comfortable that we will get judgment. But however, as at now, until the court says otherwise, Martin Amewule and the 26 others are not members of the Rivers State Assembly. That's the way Rivers people see them.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Enyi, for speaking with us here on News Now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's still stay in Rivers State and tell you that the family of late Atiku Abubakar in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State are demanding justice for their killed son. 35-year-old Chikuma was allegedly shot and killed by an official of the Nigeria police on Saturday. News Central correspondent Austin Azu has been following this story, and he has this report.
This is the back entrance into late Maswe's apartment. And this is what the police did to gain entrance into the apartment. We were told that the police forcefully broke into this place using these pillars on the floor to break this door open to gain entrance into late Maswe's apartment. You can see on the floor some of the bullets, and this is one of the bullets that was fired at Maxwell that claimed his life. And this is a spillover bullet that was found on the ground. On the floor, you can still see some spilled blood. However, the family seems to be mourning. And what are their demands at this point in time?
One policeman says, fire him, shoot him down, shoot him down. I say, sir, please don't shoot. Sir, please don't shoot. We are going to settle this thing amicably. Sir, please don't shoot. Sir, please, for the sake of my baby, sir, please don't shoot. That was when they shoot the gun. When they shoot the gun, they now follow the frontage.
The victim's younger sister, Doris Igbolem, described her late brother as peaceful and friendly, provided the kind of business her brother is doing.
My brother is a businessman. He do agents for land. He do agents for people. If you want to buy land, he will do the agent for you for selling and buying.
The other brother to late Chukwuma Igbolem, Bright Igbolem, and aunt demand justice for their kid brother.
But one thing that is sure is that our brother cannot just die like that. You can't just wear a uniform that government gave you. You refuse to understand the norms of your uniform. Take gun and shoot anyhow. Shoot whoever you want to shoot. Human beings are not animals. So we'll ask for justice.
So what I need now is government should justice, to have justice upon this thing. They should take care of this girl is only 6 children. Small kid. No one has reached out to primary one.
Others further provided updates what the police allegedly carted away during the sting operation.
I get into my room, they have entered inside my room and break my laptop and took my 15,000 naira, and I saw blood everywhere.
The almost 300,000 that was inside the house, my husband want to use and open business for me. they collected it. Some phones that people plugged, that even my husband phone, they plug while the gen was on, they collected all. My children tablets, they collected it.
Though the spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Grace Irukoko, in a statement revealed that the trigger-happy police officer had been arrested while the body of late Chukwuma Ebulem deposited in the morgue. My investigation is ongoing. These children of late Maxwell Ebulem will have to live without their father for the rest of their lives. In Umuagobia community in Kwere local government area of Rivers State, I'm Austin Azu.
Well, away from that sad story, the Federal High Court on Monday adjourned the terrorism trial of Nnamdi Kanu indefinitely. The self-proclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, dramatically questioned the impartiality of the presiding judge, Judge Binta Nyako, leading to the indefinite adjournment. News Central's Sager Ibrahim's been covering the proceedings and has this report.
The day's hearing is about to commence in earnest, but a visibly agitated Nnamdi Kanu insists that the proceedings cannot continue with Justice Binta Nyako as the presiding judge.
Why is it when it comes to my case, they turn the law upside down? They turn the law upside down. Upside down.
The IPOB leader laments that his trial remains stalled despite a Supreme Court pronouncement alleging bias in the handling of his case.
These things are in the public domain. Why, therefore, are they insisting on trying this? A court order was entered. In that very court order, it was said very clearly and distinctly that he is no more. That he is no more going to try me. Why are they insisting?
Kanu was initially scheduled to appear for a hearing on Monday, February 10, 2025, as stated in a hearing notice addressed to his lead counsel, Aloy Ejimako, who now says the case remains largely unchanged.
So we came here today on a limited appearance. We appeared under protest out of utmost respect for the judge and for the court, to listen to the court as to the reasons why we were invited before the same court that was recused in September last year. Once an order of court is made, the only way you can set it aside is to take it on appeal. Our submission on the record is that the court stands recused until that order is set aside.
Reacting to the development, rights activist Omoyele Shore, who was present in court, described the adjournment as an opportunity for the government to take the appropriate course of action.
Today is the final day to sit down and release Nnamdi Kanu. You cannot not assume jurisdiction over a case from which you have disqualified yourself. Hopefully, they will, within that period of time, resolve this matter. I won't even say in the interest of justice, it's in their own interest.
Kanu had previously requested that his case be transferred to the Southeast if no other judge at the Federal High Court in Abuja was willing to hear it, aside from Justice Nyako, whom he now accuses of being unfit to preside over the matter. On September 24, 2024, Kanu made an open court request for Justice Nyako to recuse herself, citing lack of confidence in her handling of the case. It has been almost a decade since Kanu's legal troubles began. First arrested by DSS operatives in October 2015, he has been in and out of detention on charges including criminal conspiracy and membership in an illegal organization. In June 2021, he was rearrested and extradited to Nigeria, where he remains in the custody of the DSS. Kanu's legal battles have been marked by arrests, prolonged court proceedings, and allegations of human rights violations, highlighting the ongoing tensions between IPOB and the Nigerian government. What happens next remains uncertain as the case unfolds in the coming days. In Abuja, Sager Ibrahim for News Central.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has dismissed all political insinuations following his visit to former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta on Monday. Atiku was accompanied by two former governors, Aminu Tambuwal and Liyel Imoke of Sokoto and Cross River States. Several other prominent politicians were also in attendance. Atiku and members of his entourage were welcomed by elder statesman Oyewole Fasawi before they all went straight into a private meeting with Obasanjo, who had been waiting for his visitors.
Yes, sir. Cool down. Just courtesy visit.
Okay. Just because a lot of people believe that you and Peter Obi have been having meeting for so long.
It's a courtesy visit, please.
Is this related to politics?
I'm not going to talk about politics, please. All right. Thank you.
Is this connected to
let's go. Thank you very much.
It's okay. So let's go. Make a way.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's okay. Sorry.
The ruling All Progressives Congress APC has dismissed concerns over a potential alliance between former President Olusegun Obasanjo and 2023 PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, stating it poses no threat to President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. Speaking in an interview, APC National Secretary Senator Ajibola Basiru downplayed the significance of the meeting between Obasanjo and Atiku in Abeokuta, Ogun State on Monday. Basiru emphasized that the APC remains focused on governance and is currently strategizing for the November 8 Anambra governorship election rather than being concerned with political alignments. Atiku, who led a high-powered delegation, was accompanied by former governors Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto, Liyel Imoke of Cross River, and other political figures to the meeting. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at this story. Vice President Kashim Shettima inaugurates Committee on Financial Inclusion for You, Nigerians. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed the commitment of the federal government to integrate every citizen into the nation's financial ecosystem. This was as the Vice President inaugurated Nigeria's Presidential Committee on Economic and Financial Inclusion as part of efforts by government to build a $1 trillion economy by 2030. Our correspondent, Amadine Uyi, reports.
It was the inauguration of a presidential committee to provide adequate infrastructure to build financial gaps and create an inclusive environment for the poorest of the poor in Nigeria.
The inauguration of this committee and the formalization of this investment committee reinforced President Tinubu's pledge to an inclusive economy, a vision that has been endorsed by the National Economic Council.
As we formally inaugurate this presidential committee and commence the operationalization, I would say, of the 2024 ASO Accord, it is imperative that we affirm our collective commitment to the terms of reference that will guide our work and indeed measure stage by stage our progress.
Several in attendance say with the committee delivering on President Bola Tinubu's mandate, Nigerians will benefit immensely and the economy will take a giant leap.
We have millions of Nigerians, very hardworking Nigerians who are in rural communities, who are socially excluded by not being included in the financial system. And a lot of them cannot get credit, cannot access any financial assistance and support.
We cannot grow our economy at the expense of our common humanity. So which means that we have to carry the weakest among us. We have to design programs and policies that target those vulnerable ones, those very weak ones among us.
We have people that are living below the poverty line, almost 70%. That was the last statistics before us. And I believe if we address this issue effectively with the leadership given to us by His Excellency the Vice President and all the stakeholders sitting here today are committed and determined. I have no doubt in my mind we will address this problem within a very short time.
The Vice President says that the committee is proof of government's commitment to carrying Nigerians along and integrating poor citizens in the nation's financial ecosystem.
We remain resolute in mitigating the short-term effects of economic reforms, expanding financial opportunities, and ensuring that every Nigerian, regardless of geography or status, is integrated into our economic growth story.
The event also witnessed the signing of an investment agreement by private sector stakeholders to provide foundational infrastructure for the full commencement of the ASO Accord initiative. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Let's stay on economic matters. Nigeria is building a resilient and competitive business environment by adopting Germany's chamber-led economic governance model. This is hinged on the collaborations of chambers of commerce globally to drive growth, innovation and business-friendly policies. And Germany is Nigeria's partner in this approach to fostering a robust, interconnected economy. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in collaboration with the Jasin Chamber of Commerce and Industry, plans to implement this model to enhance Nigeria's economic sustainability. By leveraging this partnership, Nigeria hopes to strengthen its industries, improve business conditions, and drive long-term economic success.
The Nigerian people would gain a lot, because you see, in Germany we have a unemployment rate below 5%. I think here in Nigeria you have an unemployment rate above 20%. The German model of dual vocational training has proved to be very, very successful, because from the very first day the apprentices gain experience from the market. That means it's a market-driven approach, not a supply-driven approach. And what we want to show the Nigerian chambers is a dual vocational training that they will change into DVT with Nigerian flavor.
Is to help optimize the chamber processes, also help optimize membership development, and as well as entrepreneurship, especially within the country. You know, we have so many SMEs and they need development, so that's part of the process. Also, partly that project too is also to enhance the capacity and capability of chamber staff. That's why you have the Chamber Academy.
Officials of National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on Monday stormed the patent medicine dealers section of Ariaria International Market in Aba, known as Ekumi, to counter the trade in banned or unregistered drugs, with the market not open for business due to the IPOP sit-at-home restrictions in the southeast. The NAFDAC officials broke shops open to gain access and sealed off those found in violation. A joint team of security personnel accompanied the NAFDAC officials. The Deputy Director in charge of Investigation and Enforcement Southeast and South-South, Omoyeni Babatunji, says NAFDAC is authorized by law to break into anywhere suspected to house contraband drugs for the purpose of getting them removed.
We are not in the markets, but we have taken over the markets and we'll be working store to store, but no arrest because they weren't. If it's not carrying up that number, it means it hasn't passed through our processes. So no NAFDAC number, no registration. But no, the entire area has to be screened. That's the scope we're given, and we are being meticulous about it. So one by one, like you have observed, we are going to carry out the operation to a letter.
And over now to infrastructure, Lagos commuters are set to experience a major shift in their daily traveling as the state government expands the Red Line rail service. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu announced this, that the service will increase its trips, promising shorter wait times and a faster journey between Agbado and Oyigbo. While this move is being hailed as a step forward, Lagosians weigh in. News Central's Chidiba Ona tells us more in this report.
Starting Tuesday, the Red Line rail service will expand its capacity, offering 5 morning and 4 evening trips daily, up from 2 morning trips. This enhancement ensures better commuting options for residents traveling between Agbado and Oyigbo. That was the announcement from Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, marking yet another phase in Lagos State's expanding transportation infrastructure. According to an official at the Oyigbo train station who opted not to speak on camera, the expanded Red Line trips officially commenced on the morning of February 10th. The schedule now includes 2 morning departures at 6 a.m. and 8:10 a.m. with evening trips at 5:20 p.m. and 6:40 p.m. Each trip costs 1,500 naira per passenger on the newly introduced trains. Following this development, Lagosians have been reacting to the news, sharing their perspectives on the cost, infrastructure, and the overall ease of commuting in Nigeria's busiest city.
The reason why I've not used train because of I've not find like an opportunity to go and explore in a train, like using it for transportation. So I've not find opportunity to do that. I mostly use bus. From Agbado to this side, to Imboye, we'll solve the solution of, first of all, hold up. Yes, we look into the hold up space. A lot of hold up is everywhere, but the train now, it will solve that hold up issue.
Láàárọ̀ látàrí Àgbàdo yẹn wá bí báyìí 700 mo san 350 là ń san tẹ́lẹ̀ but wọ́n lo kòró iṣu wọ́n fi gbé wa lọ 700 bàtà dẹ̀ ní choice a ní láti máa wọ̀.
Yes, I use train. I always go to Alagbado. Train is good for me. Well, the price is just normal for me. The 1.5 is good. If it is 702, everything is good. But I love train because no hold up.
I'm not using train because it's not my route. Where they position it is far from my house. Even if I go to Island, to go back where the station is sovereign for me to go back there. Instead of that, I will prefer to enter public bus.
For now, commuters will be watching closely as expanded Red Line service begins operations. Whether this marks a new era for Lagos transportation or is just one step in a long journey remains to be seen. In Lagos reporting for News Central, I am Chidimma Ona.
Well, still on infrastructure, the government of Plateau State is pledged to ensure all abandoned and ongoing projects in the state are brought to completion sooner than later. Speaking during an assessment tour of projects within the Jos Bukuru metropolis and those of them outside the metro, the Commissioner for Works, Joshua Ubandoma, maintained that the projects will be concluded since government is a continuum. News Central's Chizoba was at the assessment tour and now tells us this.
Many projects run by government at all levels are basically for the benefit of members of the concerned communities. Sadly, many of them are usually abandoned at some point after flag off and most times never revisited by successive governments. That was the claim here in Kanke local government area of Plateau State, where a 33-kilometer road project was commissioned over 8 years ago but never saw the light of the day throughout the last 2 tenures of former Governor Simon Lalong. Now, what is termed as claims by Yusuf Gagdi, representing Pangshin Kanke Kanam Federal Constituency, that he had completed the project has been described as misleading.
Even the 700 meters that he has, this contractor have handled is substandard. You can see substandard is its federal government standard of asphalting is 6 centimeters, but its own is less than 2 centimeters, while the state government standard is 4 centimeters. So even the shabby thing is this on our existing contract that is going on is substandard.
The last construction that took place on this road is as far back as the time of Jonah Jank, and after then the contractor gradually moved the heavy equipment and some of the light vehicles out of this community, and since then we have never seen any whatsoever they call it. It's in the papers, but factually there was no any road construction from Gunji to Shower and then Dokoi as well.
Public office holders remain indebted to Governor Caleb Mutfwang for granting the approval for the commencement of the project many years after for the benefit of their constituents.
This is another hope to our community, hope to our people, and even a rekindling hope for myself. It is a state project, and we from the state, we've come down to inspect it ourselves, and we will take the report back to the state as we've seen it.
These members of the community can't hold their joy in wait for the completion of this project. All eyes are now watching to see how government handles what it describes as claims by the House of Representative member Yusuf Gadi on the road project for the residents of Shuar, Dokpan, Taplik, and Gunji districts. In Kanke local government area of Plateau State for News Central, I am Chizoba Anioi.
Coming up next here on News Now, Sudan's largest civilian coalition splits over government formation. We have this story. Join us in a moment. And thank you for staying with us. The United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has declared that Niger's ousted President Mohamed Bazoum and his wife Hadiza have been arbitrarily detained since the July 2023 military coup that removed him from power. Bazoum, who was elected in 2021, was overthrown on July 26, 2023 by General Abdurrahmani Tiani, the head of his presidential guard, over allegations that he failed to protect the nation from jihadist attacks. Since then, Bazoum and his wife have been held under strict detention at the presidential palace in Niamey. In the report released on Monday, the UN Working Group, which operates under the Human Rights Council, insisted that the only appropriate measure would be to immediately release Mr. and Mrs. Bazoum and grant them the right to seek compensation. Sudan's largest civilian political coalition, Takadum, has split into two factions, citing deep disagreements over forming a government in areas controlled by paramilitaries at war with the army. In a statement on Monday, the bloc of political parties and professional unions said the division was triggered by two opposing stances on the government formation issue. It added that henceforth each faction would operate under a new name with a separate political and organizational structure, pursuing its own vision for ending the war, achieving lasting peace, and establishing democratic civilian rule. Meanwhile, the Sudanese army, which has been locked in conflict with the Rapid Support Forces RSF since April 2023, has accused Takadum's leader, former Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, of aligning with the RSF paramilitaries. Still ahead here on News Now, Trump issues hostages release deadline, threatens to cancel deal. Details after this break. Stay with us. Just to watch the news now, U.S. President Donald Trump has set a deadline for the release of all hostages from Gaza, demanding that they be freed by Saturday at noon. He warned that if the hostages are not released by then, he would call for the cancellation of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire. Trump described Hamas's threat to delay further exchanges as terrible and stated that if all hostages aren't returned by the deadline, all hell would break out. The president also mentioned the possibility of withholding U.S. aid to allies like Jordan and Egypt if they refuse to accept Palestinians under his controversial plan for Gaza. Trump plans to discuss the timeline with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
As far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
Former Colombian President Álvaro Uribe has appeared in court for the first time as a defendant in an unprecedented criminal trial. The case involves allegations of witness tampering and bribery during his presidency. In the final hearings, Uribe sat before a judge in Bogota, where he requested that the judge be recused to investigate concerns over impartiality. Outside the courthouse, he was met by supporters as his defense lawyer made the request. Uribe, who served from 2002 to 2010, is facing serious charges, marking a historic moment as no previous Colombian president has been tried in this manner. The trial has drawn significant attention both in Colombia and internationally.
Pues con toda la calma del caso, veremos qué decisión se toma. En el caso de las víctimas ya pedimos que haya una observación internacional.
Participar en una recusación a un juez de la República para mí es doloroso. No me siento cómodo en este momento, señora juez. Coadyuvando la postulación de recusación que hiciera el doctor Granados. He venido a decirle muchas gracias por su presencia y a pedirles comprensión de todo lo que yo tenía que decir. Lo dije en el despacho de la señora juez. Muchas gracias.
And in the world of sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles have resumed training in Abuja ahead of the 2025 CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Coach Aliyu Zubairu led the team's first session at the FIFA Gold Project, Moshood Abiola Stadium, with double training sessions scheduled for Tuesday. Nigeria, the reigning WAFU B Under-20 champions, will compete alongside 11 other qualified nations, including Ghana, Senegal, and Egypt, for a spot in the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile. The tournament runs from the 26th of April to the 18th of May, with the top 4 teams securing World Cup qualification. CAF has yet to conduct the official draw for the competition, which serves as Africa's pathway to the global tournament. Let's tell you that the Royal Moroccan Football Federation is financing the renovation of Liberia's Antoinette Tubman Stadium in Monrovia as part of an ongoing partnership with the Liberian Football Association. The 10,000 capacity stadium will receive advanced water drainage technology, including an underground system for improved water management. The project, initiated under a 2020 cooperation agreement, also includes a new water station to serve both the pitch and surrounding facilities, alongside a modern playing surface. This renovation aims to bring the stadium up to Confederation of African Football standards. The FRMF's support underscores Morocco's commitment to infrastructure development in African football. Cristiano Ronaldo has reached an agreement to extend his contract with Al Nassr until June 2026. The deal, though not yet signed, will be announced in the coming days. The Portuguese star turned 40 last week, initially joined the Saudi club in January 2023 and has since netted 82 goals in 90 matches. Despite speculation about retirement, Ronaldo has hinted he may finish his career with Al Nassr. His arrival in Saudi Arabia spurred a wave of high-profile transfers and coincided with the kingdom's successful bid for the 2034 World Cup. While he nears 1,000 career goals, Ronaldo still seeks his first Saudi Pro League or continental title with Al Nassr. The International Boxing Association has announced legal action against the International Olympic Committee over the participation of Algeria's Imani Khalif and Taiwan's Ling Yuting at the Paris Olympics. Both boxers excluded from the IBA's 2023 World Championships after failing gender eligibility tests were cleared by the IOC and won gold medals. The IBA claims the IOC's actions violate regulations and has filed complaints in Switzerland, France, and the US. However, the IOC dismissed the accusations, emphasizing that both athletes were born and raised as women. The dispute adds to ongoing tensions between the two organizations after the IBA's expulsion from the Olympic movement due to governance, judging, and financial concerns. And that's a wrap on the news for this hour. Before we go, a quick look at the major stories for this hour. Inspector General of Police bans officers in Mufti from carrying assault rifles. APC dismisses Obasanjo-Atiku meeting and says the alliance poses no threat. And UN calls for immediate release of Niger's deposed president detained since 2023. If you love watching News Central, well, we bet you do. You can watch News Central on these following platforms: on Star Times, not forgetting to DSTV, and you can stream live always on YouTube as well as on Facebook and Avo TV. Jasiri is up next at 10. Make sure you stay put. I'm Joe Hansen. Thanks for watching.